Hello everybody and welcome to Figure Friday. Today we are going to be reviewing yet another Polynian figure from the Daibadi line. Today's figure is Polynian number 8, Rucio, otherwise known as Lucio. Let's take a look at everything. Of course we have a low opacity version of Lucio right there, as well as him holding a couple pistols and looking rather cute. On the side here we have him giving a bit of a salute, looking rather adorable, very girlish. The other side, he is clutching his arm, looking ready to go. And of course on the back we have all the poses showing off his accessories and his rather adorable robo booty. There's some really cool pistols he comes with, another blue base sort of like Mel, and that's pretty much all we need to see. Let's get this thing open. When we flip it around to the front, we get to see our typical windowed packaging. Let's take off that film. Uh-oh, it looks like some pieces have come loose. If we take a look at him, we see he comes with 2 faces as well as the one attached to him, giving him 3, a couple pistols, 3 sets of hands, as well as the ones that are on him, so 4 in total. There's some anime pictures as usual showing off his accessories, and even some more information about how you can attach the different parts to him as well. But let's open this thing up. This is Lucio in all of his glory. He comes with an extra hair that actually is made to be more feminine, an extra 2 faces, one very angry and excited, and a very gleeful with his teeth showing smiling face, 2 peg hole hands that allow you to use accessories, 2 open hands, 2 closed fists, which I don't get why they'd give you those if you have a set already, and the flippers for his sandals because he has similar sandals to Mel. There's also, if you can tell, a little bit of a bow tie right here that you actually place over the chest when you swap it to the feminine mode. And another piece is actually this tiny little bit of blue plastic. It's a little hard to see, but you actually are supposed to attach it to the feminine hair to act as sort of a hair clip, but it doesn't stay. Additional accessories include the similar boogie board that Mel came with, as well as the water cannon attachments that you can put on the sides of his little water Uzis, a female pelvis, which allows you to swap out the body, the hexagonal base, which is actually not blue as it was advertised on the box, and 2 little water clips that you can attach to the waist, or potentially attach to the other accessories as well. Lucio is just about 6 inches tall from the top of his hair to the bottom of his feet, which makes him a 1/12 scale figure. Very typical for the Polynians. Once you take a good look at him, he's actually pretty adorable. I do like that rather than the minimalist sculpt, he has a little bit more going on. He looks great though. The hair is a great contrast from the super white body. I love this orange vest. It's very cool. Looks like a life vest. It's very open up at the top. That little bit of green there is a nice accent. And his tiny little robo swimsuit is adorable on his tight little robo butt. And big old robo bulge to show the ladies that he is working with something. He is a boy. And one other thing I really like about this is the legs, not the legs, but so much the feet. You can actually take off these sandals and apply them to other characters, which is really cool because I didn't try too hard, but Mel's seemed to be almost stuck to her feet, so I'm not sure if I want to try. Like the other Polynians in the line, he has the Polynian ball peg joints all over his body where all the gray separates his flesh, and they are the standard fare of articulation that we've come to know and love. Let's start with the shoulder. You can get your up and down, in and out. A nice swivel rotation is fully possible with this. Once you learn how to use it, that is very normal. And that's the good thing about these joints is they're very easy to work with and they plug right back in. If they come out, it's not hard to get them to work again. Of course, the elbow has the same range of motion, in and out, swivel, and of course your side to side a little bit. Rotation is the same in the wrist. It's the same in the leg connecting to the body, and the knee is very similar as well. So is the ankle. And of course he has the same joint in his waist, which allows him to get a nice crunch with the abs. He can go back a little bit. The vest does inhibit him a little bit, but it's not too bad. You can get your swivel. You can get a rotation out of it. Same thing with his head, up and down. You get your swivel, you get your rotation. It all works pretty well. So far, I'm really liking this figure. He's very cute. The hair is very similar to Vanya, who we just recently reviewed. Let's start attaching some accessories and see what this figure is all about. And here we have Lucio ready to fire his double cannons. I have to say yet again, this is a quality figure. The sculpting is wonderful, it's very pleasing to look at, the accessories look great when they're attached, and the painting isn't bad either. I don't see terribly many paint errors. There is a bit of painting on the flesh, making it that sort of cheaper looking white yet again, rather than keeping it the regular sculpted plastic, however it may have been on some of the newer figures, but that's completely fine. I guess as they continue to go, maybe they'll learn a little bit more, but still, this figure looks wonderful so far. The red hair and orange vest, as well as the purple accessories and some of that green in the highlights of the other accessories, really helps this character to pop from that white flesh that it has. As per the usual, the joints being a dark gray are a great way to separate where each piece is, and it adds to the overall look of the figure. And this is it right here. This is exactly what I was looking for. This pose is flowing so well due to the way that the weight is distributed on the figure. They know where to leave him bare, and then they know where to chunk him up and add some extra parts. This is perfect almost. And I want to talk more about his colors because I don't think I really made enough of a point to say how well this works. You have that blend of both cool colors and warm all coming together with that neutral for the black and gray and dark navy blue that's on him, and it all works so well. There's such a great balance. And that's what I think I love so much about this line. Their usage of color is scarce, and it's really not too far interspersed from one another, but the way it's done works so well for the design that I can't find any problems with it. And I have to say, for color theory, this is just gorgeous. It's simple, it's clean, and it just looks great. And here, there's your fan service. I know that's what most of you come here for, you sickos. But I mean, damn, boy. And speaking of fan service, here's Lucio as a pretty girl. I guess we can call him Lucia. But yes, as you can see, it changes out the pelvis, and it also adds that tiny little bow tie to the chest to cover it up, and then there's a little bit less hair on top, no more spikes, and finally that little hair clip gets added into the hair. Now, one thing to note about that, it actually did not fit on my figure. There's actually a tiny slit in the hair, and the actual hair clip has a tiny, tiny slitted notch that's supposed to, I guess, align into that. Or maybe it was supposed to be glued, I don't know, the piece was floating in my box. But what I did was took a tiny piece of double-sided tape, I cut it into the smallest square I could, and I got it to stick on there because it just looks good. I think it would have been a real shame to not get to see this figure with all the accessories, including that cute little hair tie, so I'm glad it's on there. It adds a nice little bit of character to the female side, and a nice little bit of additional color. It would also seem that the additional pair of fists were actually feminine fists, because they're a bit smaller than the pair that comes on Lucio to begin with. And of course, yes, the feminine version also has a delicious robo booty. If you asked me to choose between the two of them, I would have a hard time doing so, because both the feminine and masculine versions of Lucio are rather cute. Of course, they're very similar because they have the same exact base, but that ability to change the gender is really nice, and it adds a lot of dynamic to the figure. It's especially nice that I don't have to buy a separate pack to make this character one gender or the other. It's all included in the original package. I'd say there's a lot of value for this being a $50 figure. But that's not to say that this figure is without its flaws, because it does have some. One thing, of course, is that little hair bow. It is a pain to get on there, and I don't know if it's supposed to be attached, but if it is, it's so fragile that it's very easy to come off. Additionally, that little bow tie piece that's inside there under the green tag that makes it cover up the chest for the female version, it is not fitted in there with any particular fitting. Nothing is clicking it in. It falls out very easily. Just like that. The painting is pretty good on this one. I can't say that there's a ton of paint errors. One thing that I don't like is that finish on the body. You can kind of see it on the leg here. There's a sort of brushy look to it, almost as if it's covered in like gesso or gesso, whatever it's called. You use it to prime canvases, but it looks kind of bulky and a little bit cheap. It's different from the newer versions of Clover and Shamrock, where the plastic itself is pretty much just the color of the body. I additionally had some problem with the pegs on the feet where you're supposed to put the fins at. This one was so bulky that I actually had to take an X-Acto blade to it to shave it down a bit to get the fin to fit on there, because while I was trying to apply it, it actually broke the fin. Luckily, it's a very simple connection, and it can pretty much sustain its own weight if you just click it back on, and some super glue would do it some good, but it did fall apart, so there's that.
Ultra Hydro Time Hailstorm!
Seriously though, I am in love with this figure after playing with it for so long. It has so many different configurations thanks to all the different pieces it comes with. The accessories are almost in excess, and because of how much it comes with, your ability to pose and play with this figure is vast. And of course, all of these accessories can be swapped with other Polynians, so this is a great figure to have if you have other characters in the line. It's also nice to see another boy in the mix. Next to Ymir and Shamrock, he's a pretty good representation. Sure, maybe his clothes are a little skimpy and he looks a little bit girlish, especially since you can swap his parts out and make him a girl, but regardless, we like these characters because of their gender ambiguity, and Lucio is very similar in that way. And you know what? As these continue to go on, I am more and more impressed with them every time. They keep doing things that change everything just enough for me to be happy. The sandals were removable. The little tag on his chest is a flexible plastic, which I keep saying I wanted to see more of, and they're actually doing that. There were a little bit of manufacturing problems with some of the plastic on this, but that's not going to be everybody's figure, and all in all, I would say this is an amazing and very solid addition to the Polynian line. You guys are going to start thinking I'm a softie, and you're going to laugh at me for my inability to give these things lower scores, but I'm going to give Lucio a solid 9 out of 10. He may be a little too skimpy for me to give a 10. There wasn't something that was pushing him right over with me, but I really enjoyed this character. The faceplate that I have on him now is amazing, and there's so much more to it than simple rage. His eyes have stars in them, his mouth is happy / kind of weirdly angry. And because of that, there's so much you can do with him, and that's for all his accessories. I had a lot of fun with this one, and I cannot wait to see more of the line. I would love for them to do a palette swap on this and do a different colored version, but we'll see if that happens. And surprisingly enough, he's not too hard to come by. This one's pretty fairly priced. You can get him around $80, which isn't too marked up from his original price. And he's a bit older at this point, so you would expect that to happen. But no, you can go out and get him now and add another deliciously sexy robot to your Polynian collection. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this review, please leave a like. It really does help me out. And if you want to, please subscribe. I make videos every week, multiple videos, and I'm hoping to do more as time goes on. If you want to see any of my other figure reviews, go ahead and click the playlist above that I'm linking, and that has all the other figure reviews I've done thus far. Our next review will be the very highly anticipated Iana. Damn, that's thick. So stay tuned to this channel because we're doing all the Polynian figures eventually. Thanks again for watching and keep on collecting.